everyone. Good morning. So you see I'm Holly DeMuro. That's not as interesting as this little gentleman. Many of you may have noticed in your bags you've got this little red bird. He is not an angry bird. He's a very happy bird. His name is Ike, and Ike is our mascot. Just a little bit of background about iCIMS. We're talent acquisition software. We're actually a full suite of talent acquisition software, including applicant tracking and onboarding and so on. So Ike is our mascot, and he knows everything there is to know about talent acquisition, everything. So throughout the presentation, he's going to actually be telling me what to say because, of course, I'm totally clueless. But hopefully you'll enjoy your Ike. Take him home. Kids love him. Dogs love him. Just don't let your dog rip the stuffing out of him. That's really sad. So with that, I'm just going to throw him down here for now. He is whispering up. I've got a secret mic here. That's still me, but Ike is always more valuable than I am. So what we're going to talk about today is the candidate experience. But from an interesting perspective, we've had some really fabulous speakers so far this morning talking about engagement and the design of your company's different rooms in the office space and new technology coming in and how to spark creativity and so on and so forth. It's been really exciting. And that plays in really, really well to what I want to talk about today. Over the last few years, or actually I should say a few years ago, the economy kind of pooped out. Nobody's surprised by that. And with that, there were a lot of employees had this mentality, and a lot of companies had this mentality that employees should just be lucky to have a job. Shut up, keep your head down, do your job, and don't complain. But with that, and I know there's some debates around the engagement thing, and rightly so, but ultimately we are seeing somewhat of an improvement in the economy. Everybody knows that. Federal Reserve back at the end of 2013 had predicted that we would end up with an unemployment rate of about 6.3 by the end of 2014. Funny enough, I think the most recent jobs numbers actually said that the rate is about 6.3, so we hit that goal sooner. That too is a debatable thing. Obviously, a lot of people say, especially with census data, that it's not really that number. A lot of people just sort of dropped out of trying to find a job. That be the case, still, it doesn't change this. You've got a whole new set of employees believing a different thing. And just like in the economy, when the consumer feels that the economy is doing well, regardless of whether it is, things start to improve. Well, now you see that employees are starting to think that the economy is doing well. 43% of workers feel that they have the ability to find at least a comparable job, to be happier, which means that that gives you a great pool to source from, at the same time as it means that you could be losing your best talent if you're not treating them well. So we're going to just really quickly talk about passive and active candidates, and ultimately, sort of grabbing onto the conversation that have already happened with some of the amazing speakers so far. We're going to talk about actually communicating that information to the outside world and how that ultimately will turn into creating a fabulous candidate experience. So starting with the passive candidates, obviously you probably all know, but a passive candidate is one who's not actively searching. They're not going to job boards. They're not trying to apply for jobs or anything. They're just sort of sitting around and they're hating their job. Or maybe they're not in love with their job, but not necessarily hating it. A good offer comes along, these people are going to be quick to jump. The fact is here that social recruiting is actually one of the best ways to get a hold of these people because they're not actually out on a job board, they're not looking. And you can see here 79% of job seekers, actual active job seekers, are out there looking. But moreover that, you've got about 80% of the population that are spending quality time on social media. But in order to leverage social media to be able to actually draw those candidates in, attract the passives, you don't have to worry so much about the actives. They're actively looking for you. They're going to find you on a job board. But the passive candidates, again, they're not on that job board, so you need to be creating something in the social media strategy that's going to be attracting them. And that's where all the engagement stuff that you've already heard comes in. This is the means of communicating that information to the outside world to let them know what you as an employer have to offer. So what does that translate to? Don't be a job pusher. We have, iCIMS has a software that allows you to automate the distribution of jobs, which is fabulous. But if that's all you're doing, you are failing. Epic fail in your social media strategy. You have to be giving them more information. If you've got one of these open office cultures, or you've got these fabulous environments that are divided by different activities that they're creating, tell people that. Share that information. Let them know what your culture is all about. The social media strategy does not turn you into a job pusher, and that's a huge problem you're seeing right now. By creating a good social media strategy that offers more than just jobs, information about your culture, information about your managers, information about the people who work there, then you start to be able to engage people. You have passive candidates looking, going, gee, that's a pretty cool company. Now, one of the worst things that we found when we did some proprietary research recently, a whole bunch of surveys and ultimately looking at some aggregated data from our own system as well, and we found some interesting stats. Approximately 93% of candidates who come, or job seekers of any sort, maybe they're not yet candidates, but people who are coming to a career portal, they find you on social media, they find you on a job board, they find you on Google search, whatever the case is, they come and they show up at the career portal, they look at the job description, and 93% leave. Just disappear. They don't apply for a job, they don't engage with your company. Why? Well, ultimately, these people are not becoming engaged. They're not seeing anything on your career portal that's wowing them, that's making them want to take the next step, or they're not able to take the next step. A lot of the passives in particular don't have their resume ready yet. They really weren't looking to make that jump today, and lo and behold, they found a job. Might be great, but I didn't do my resume yet. Not ready. So there's got to be a solution plugged into your career portal that allows you to capture these passive candidates who are not ready to apply today, but they've shown some or expressed some interest in your employment brand. One way to do this, obviously, is to incorporate into your career portal different social connectors. So things, follow us on Twitter, meet up with us on LinkedIn. Alternatively, great technology, and yes, total shameless plug, Talent CRM. They can plug right into your system, right into your career portal, and allow the candidate to provide their basic information. Here's my LinkedIn profile. Maybe I have a resume, maybe I don't. But I, as the candidate, can now choose a talent pool or a group that I want to be lumped into. So I tell you, hey, I'm interested in finance, I'm interested in marketing. And then you have this great pool from which you can source in the future. Whether you're doing it with a talent CRM like iCIMS has to offer, or whether you're doing it through various social connectors, you have to do it, because you're going to lose these people. They're going to go off and they're going to your competitor forever and ever. Now, on the other side are active candidates. I'm not going to talk about job boards. I don't agree with the fact that many people say they're dead. They're not. You've still got a huge amount of people who are using job boards, but that's too obvious. We're actually going to spend some time talking about search engine optimization. This is kind of a scary topic. Some of the larger companies out here might have a really good feel for that. You might be really comfortable with it. Maybe you're not. Who knows? But an important statistic that you need to know is that about half of all job seekers, 49% if you want to get specific on me, about half are going out and performing a Google search. They're starting their search with an unbranded basic Google search. So what that means from an unbranded perspective, that means they're going and they're searching, say, marketing jobs New York City, and seeing what comes up. Now, currently, for just about every job you might search in that way, an unbranded search on Google, usually the first thing to pop up is going to be Indeed. And that's great. The problem from your perspective is, though, that you're now putting your employment brand right next to your first competitor, because everybody else who's looking for marketing is going to be listed on Indeed as well, because they're an aggregator. So ultimately, the most important thing you can pull away from this is the urgency of working out search engine optimization for your career site. Whether you have people on site who are doing this for you, if you have experts, definitely engage them and start to improve your search engine optimization. One easy way to do this are microsites. If you're not familiar, it's definitely something to look into. Career microsites, one that we work with, a partner of ours actually works with the .jobs network, which is a first-level domain, .jobs, .com, those are the domains. It's actually protected by SHRM, so everything on it is job-related. And with that, because Google considers it a top-tier domain, it actually searches really well and comes up on that first page. So microsites are a great way to go if you don't have the internal resources to master SEO. Now, ultimately, these people are coming to your site. And this is where I think that our speeches tie in really well with who was speaking before from Saba and from Unilever. You might have these fabulous programs going on, but when these people come to your career site and they're looking around your pages, Are you telling them that? Are you showing them what that's all about? Now, about 78% of candidates have said that if they don't like your career portal, they're not going to apply for a job. They consider that absolutely imperative to their decision. That's a pretty big deal. So what do you have to do to actually engage these people with your employment brand and get them interested? Well, you have to provide them with sufficient information, which actually does twofold. If you provide them with enough information about what your company is, what your company's all about, and what you have to offer, you're not only going to be showing them what you have, attracting them, engaging them, but you're also going to allow a good portion of those people to screen themselves out. Certain people don't like the open office culture. They don't work well there. And if they don't work well in the culture that your company has, wouldn't you want them to go away? They're just going to quit in 18 months anyway. You might as well get rid of them out of the gate. So the kind of information that you should be including into your career portal to really engage people, not only text, but engaging things like social media that we were talking about before. You'll want to include in video. Video's huge. People are really lazy. They don't want to read anymore. Video's great. A day in the life of our company. Meet the manager. If they can't work with their manager, heaven knows they're going to quit in 18 months too. So all of those extra engagement things, making it very clear what it's like to work at your organization, is going to be the game changer in whether people do or don't apply and the quality of those candidates. I talk so fast, sometimes I wear myself out. The other thing you need to take into consideration with regard to the career portal is mobile. It's a thing. It's a really big thing. We've been looking, again, we provide or do quite a bit of research in order to supplement such fabulous presentations as this. And what we found was pretty staggering. Not only did we see a tremendous increase in the number of people coming to our career portals mobily, but we also saw a terrific amount of engagement. It's changed dramatically. Ultimately, if you're familiar with the bounce rate, ultimately people come to your site and they immediately leave. They're bored of you before you even get started. The bounce rate has decreased in 1 year, since 2013 to 2014, I think it was March to March, by 81%. That means people are staying on the site longer, they're looking at jobs longer, and ultimately then we look at the next measure of engagement, which would be, are they applying for our jobs? Applications via mobile phone have increased over 2,000%. And that's not a typo, literally 2,000% in 1 year. Absolutely fabulous proof of engagement. The problem is, if you're not mobile, you've got a problem, because so many people are mobile. Now, if you think about it, it's a very, very straightforward kind of application process. They find you on social media. They get a job alert in their email. Where are you checking your email? Think about your day-to-day life. I saw half the people in here on their phone throughout the day. You're checking your email. You're on your social media accounts. You see a job. You get something. It's really cool. You want to jump on it right then and there. Well, if you don't have a mobile application process, then you're assuming that this person will remember you a few hours later and come back. That's not likely to happen, and you're likely to be losing fabulous talent. So not only do you have to have an engaging career portal with quick things to read, lots of video. Video is fabulous. Social connections. You also need it to be mobile. And this starts to create a quick and easy application process that engages the candidates and brings in the best talent. So now in the last couple minutes, I wanted to talk about the Higher Expectations Institute. I mentioned before that we've been doing quite a bit of proprietary research. We had been doing that a little bit last year, and we really full force went into the research world this year through the Higher Expectations Institute. Looking at 2014, from the end of 2013, we realized that really the locus of control kind of changed. Candidates, again, started to become a little bit more empowered, and with that, they're looking for a better experience. So with the Higher Expectations Institute, we decided we were going to start to do educational materials, provide information, provide this research out to both employers and job seekers, and let them know what the environment is all about, what's going on with talent acquisition in general, how job seekers can score a good job, what job seekers are looking for from the perspective of for the employers. So the Higher Expectations Institute is a website attached to ISEM's website, beautiful thing, that provides all that type of information. Everything you've seen here, all the statistics, were proprietary research, and all of that is actually published in a recent ebook that we put out called Insight into the Mind of Today's Job Seeker. This and probably a gazillion other really awesome stats. We have a few more coming out in the future, but this is a great thought leadership site providing for free all of the information that you might want to know based on the information that we've been able to aggregate both from our system, what we're seeing over 2,000 different employers doing from a variety of different industries, and how that's actually turning into a different type of employment environment from the job seeker's perspective. So I encourage you to take a look at the Higher Expectations Institute. Obviously, you'd probably be more comfortable on the employer side, but the job seeker side is very cool too. Oh, and that's still me. So thank you very much, everybody.